Okay, Mr. Terry, so this is your personal video of lessons that we're gonna go over. So for this last week, we went over the E minor chord and the simple G chord and the simple C chord. Now there are more complex ways to make it, but we'll build up to that. So first of all, let's review the names of the strings. We've got E, A, D, G, B, E. So from this big fat one, Eddie, A, dynamite, goodbye, Eddie is a little mnemonic. Or if you want to go from this one, Easter bunnies get drunk at Easter. So there's those. So either E, B, G, D, A, E, or E, A, D, G, B, E, whichever you prefer. Okay, so we are going to start with the E minor chord, which we will play like this. Your two fingers right here, middle finger, will be on the 5th string. Your ring finger will be on the 4th string. Now, I will have them curved like this because I have a nice little ability to keep it from hitting the other strings when you do that. So, as you can see, our fingers will be curved, kind of like McDonald's arches a little bit. I'll show you a little bit closer from this angle. So see how I'm not interfering with any string whenever I put this down? I'm not hitting that other string on top of it or hitting the one beneath it. This finger, middle finger on top on the 5th string, is not hitting this bass string, it's keeping away from it. And so you've got a nice arch to it to where you're not hitting this string. You don't want it flat, you don't want it like this, you want it nice and arched like that. And how I'm doing that with my hand is that little part right here fits nicely in behind the neck, nice and smooth. And then I take my fingers and I arch them like that. My thumb's still over here, slightly behind it, not over here, just slightly behind, and then arched. Okay? So now you try that. Get each string to resonate. And this is called your E minor chord. It sounds a little dreary, like it's supposed to. Major sounds happy. This is a major version, so you can hear the difference. Nice and happy. Minor version. So you can hear the difference. So that is the minor that we're learning first. So again, middle finger on top, ring finger on bottom. Just aim for getting each string to sound. Okay? You don't want this cushiony part of your hand to interfere with the first string. You want nice curved fingers so that nothing is interfering whenever you're doing that. So the first finger will curve. I'm not getting anything to interfere whenever I put my fingers down. Again, spot where your thumb and index are just nice and comfortable in there. That spot right here. Comfortable around the neck. Okay? Alright, so now let's do that same concept of keeping it comfortable in the neck and put that index finger curved like a hook to hit that C. Okay? And you'll hit the first 3 strings. So those first 3 strings, I'm keeping my finger arched, as you can see, not interfering with any other string, not the first string or the 3rd string right there. I'm not hitting that one, so I'm just hitting that first string, or the 2nd string I mean, and not hitting the 1st string or the 3rd with this finger. There's no interference with this finger. So each string will have a nice tone to it, and that is what you're aiming for. Okay, so just trying something like that, and then the other very simple chord will be the G, the simple G. So that one that we played right here is a simple C that you're aiming for just 3 strings. Your first 3 right here. The G, the simple G, you'll take your ring finger and you'll just have it right here on the first string of the 3rd fret. Okay? You will play 4 strings from this one right here, the D string. And that one, I have my thumb located just behind, if I can get there. Oh, can't even figure out how to film this without. Okay, so there, and then I have my ring finger just pressing on it. So my hand looks like this whenever I'm up against the neck, like this, like I'm pinching almost whenever the neck is in between my hands. So I've got the thumb towards the bottom of the neck, and then I've got my ring finger on that first string of the 3rd fret. See, there's a dot right there on mine. I don't know if you have a dot on yours, but it's the 3rd fret. And then you play 4 strings. And make sure each string resonates. Now that one's a little easier because it's just the very first string. And then going for that C, again, I'm kind of just having to where the neck is in between here, and I'm just pinching it. I'm not even, it's not even very far down where the neck is. And I'm just pinching behind it, as you can see, like this. So I've got my hand curved a little bit to get a nice arch. Remember how we were talking about the hook? And a nice hook to it right there for the first 3. First 3 strings. So just keep working on that, switching back and forth. I'd say the easiest part to try is to switch back and forth between the C and the G. So your C, you would play for 3 strings with that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll switch with the ring finger to go all the way to the first string and play 4 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you switch all the way back to that C. 1, 2, 3, and switch back to that G. Just try doing that. Give me 1 strum each, or 2 strums each, 3 strums each, whichever one you feel like. But just trying to switch back and forth between the G to the C will be your first one. C chord, G chord. 3 strings, 4 strings. So just switching back and forth, something like this will be your first exercise, really. Trying to play all of them, like all chords, to C to G will be your next one. Trying to go from the E minor to the C chord to the G chord, back to the E minor chord, C chord, G chord, and then just starting to mix them up. G, E minor, G, C, G, E minor. However you feel like mixing it up. Just something to give you a little bit of practice to figure out how to get your fingers situated between the C chord to the G chord to the E minor chord. So again, I'm keeping my fingers nice and arched. There's no interference. And make sure you can test that each string is resonating. To the G chord, 4 strings. To the E minor chord, all 6. Okay, so that'll be your assignment to work on this week. Thank you, Mr. Williams.